Anybody with half a brain can understand that when you're a minority within a country, it would stand to reason your chances within said country would be smaller in comparison to the majority. But the difference being, of course, the majority do not base success on the overall group, whereas the minority seem to be coerced into thinking to do just that. And what I mean by that is that if there's 30 white people and 2 black people applying for the same job, it would stand to reason that the less chance for the black person to get employed in that scenario because he's a minority. So if it did go as statistically predicted, a white person would obtain the job. But the white person was in competition with all the other white people around them. And when they get that job, they don't base that as a success for white people in general. Whereas the failure to obtain the job from the minority in question means that the majority, or the white people, got the job and you didn't get it because you happen to be a minority. Disparities have become a talking point that's been slammed across every institution across society, and it's a means to talk to no end about discrimination and bias and racism and systemic inequalities and so on. When reality the matter is pretty simplistic. It really is as simple as being a minority, and it really is as simple as having smaller or less opportunities in the gigantic pool of talent, so to speak. But it just goes to show the people that preach to the choir about how they're so compassionate and caring and fighting a good fight for diversity and inclusion and equality, etc., etc. A lot of them do seem to have a bit of an issue with whitey. The white man in general. Some for their intersectional reasons, where they see them as the evil oppressor. Others, as they just see them as the problem within society that needs to be sorted. And the laugh of it is that a white man gets hired by a charity under some diversity scheme, and all hell breaks loose on Twitter by the so-called progressives, as a whitey being employed is a no-no in an intersectional, progressive, diversity and inclusive society. But it does beg the question, when you speak of equality, do you mean equality for all bar whitey? Or do you mean equality for all? And if it's the latter, then surely there shouldn't be such an issue. Even if it is a diversity charity or a charity that's promised to make strides for diversity hiring, are you trying to imply that a white man is completely inept when it comes to taking on the responsibility of diversity management? Are you seriously trying to suggest that only a black person or an ethnic minority is capable of undertaking the challenges and the tasks regarding diversity? Come on now. So, mixed reactions on social media to the appointment of a white male diversity manager. Fucking wonders never cease. Third Sector reported yesterday that several IOF members had expressed concern about the decision to hire a white male diversity consultant, because purely for the fact he's a white male, that means by default he is completely inept when it comes to anything regarding diversity. He is just completely inept, doesn't have a clue, refuses to acknowledge it. He doesn't understand, because the white male is only focused on benefiting the white male and other white males, whereas all the other compassionate groups in society, they're all caring and they're all about inclusion and diversity. Jesus. But the IOF defended its choice, saying Peter Fleet, who was hired in December, was the best person for the job. Ruby Bailey Pratt, Policy and Research Manager for fundraising at the British Red Cross, said the use of best candidate for the job was an excuse, and the fundraising consultant Mandy Johnson also seemed to query the phrase. There is a tendency to conflate issues of racial inequality with others in order to avoid confronting it. I stand with Black Fund UK in this issue. I'm tired of the best candidate for the job being used as an excuse. Or, you know, speaking on behalf of black people as a white woman. Imagine my shock. What do other people think about this? The Institute of Fundraising has launched a diversity programme and they hired a man to lead it. He has white skin and no visible characteristics. The visible characteristics, and they're right there, is one of the major issues that's eroding cohesion, quote unquote, within our society, and it's the desperation to implement as many little protected characteristics as humanly possible. Bar the white man, he's not allowed any characteristics to be protected because he's everything's wrong within society, and every other group within the progressive utopia that we all reside in, they all need to be protected vehemently, and to no end will the campaigners stop until true equality is achieved. And I wonder, when things like this arise, just what they mean by equality and inclusion. The executive defended the appointment process, but Lizzie Hollis, head of corporate engagement and partnership at Richard Hurst Children's Hospital, and the fundraising consultant John Thompson responded by questioning whether the recruitment and interview process had been set up to attract candidates from a diverse background. Now, how the hell would you do that? What could you possibly do to encourage and attract candidates from diverse backgrounds? And I have to leaf right out of the BBC's book and just saying, but you're not hiring white people. I don't really understand how you're going to be able to attract people from diverse backgrounds, but not people from a majority white background. You know, that fucking burden that you all speak of, the majority, it would stand to reason any job going out there, you're going to get some applicants that happen to be white applying for the job, but, you know. And I think you've kind of addressed a little issue right there that they failed to acknowledge, as it kind of destroys a good portion of their whole narrative that they've concocted regarding inequality, and the fact that they expressed concerns regarding whether or not the recruitment and interview process had been set up to attract candidates from diverse backgrounds. So if there wasn't people from diverse backgrounds that were interested in the job and applied and so on, there has to be a reason for that. There has to be something that was done in the recruitment process that's at fault. When, of course, maybe it's just as simple as nobody applied for the job that was from that sort of background, so they had to kind of employ a whitey. And I know they really didn't want to have to do that, but they did. And now you are all really upset, really angry, and you're desperate to find a reason as to why there wasn't enough diverse and multicultural job applicants rolling in. People think about this. The Institute of Fundraising has launched a diversity programme hiring a white man and no visible protected characteristics. We are in uncharted territory, making the best decisions we can, all things considered, and learning along the way. I imagine a fundraising profession that's truly equal, diverse and inclusive at all levels, and for the first time on the journey, I know many people do too. A digital office at the National Association of Data Protection said the optics of the appointment were dubious but not damning, and cautioned against an outraged reaction. When I see the appearance of irony, I would be cautious about getting outraged. Diversity is more than ethnicity and gender. This is what intersectionality is all about. As the article says, there are many protected characteristics. Ethnicity and gender are only two, unless you're a white man. Imagine getting your knickers in a twist over the appointment of a white male. It just goes to show, when you scrub away at the progressive shit that you all ooze yourself in on a daily basis and masquerade as the gurus of progression, the reality of the matter is you are, for the most part, anti-white. And when you speak of diversity, it really does mean less white people.